Hi friends, and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about how to recover after getting fired. It's something that most of us will experience at least once in our lifetime, so I think it's pretty important to talk about it. And also just to talk about how to recover after it happens, because life has to move on. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, first of all, I think it's important for us to talk about why people get fired. Like, why do people get fired before we even talk about how to get over it once it happens, or why does it happen, right? So it happens for a number of reasons. That could be a massive retrenchment or cutbacks. Sometimes it's workplace politics, and also sometimes it's because of performance, because say your performance does not match those of your peers, so because of that you end up getting fired. All right, so having talked about why people get fired, let's get into how to get over being fired after it's happened. The first thing you have to do is you have to grieve. You have to realize that getting fired is a loss, especially if you just so happen to love your job. Then it's definitely something that comes as a blow, and it's definitely something that you have to take the time to grieve. You have to take the time to realize that you've lost something, and you could take a week to 2 weeks depending on the resources at hand, depending on the support system you have around yourself. That is an appropriate amount of time to take to grieve and to come to terms with what has happened. And yeah, that's the first thing you have to do. And I feel like a lot of times when something like this happens, the first instinct is to start looking for another job right away, and that's definitely the wrong way to go about it, because you haven't taken the time to, one, process what's happening, and two, which is the second thing you have to do to get over being fired, you have to reflect on your experience. And so this is the second thing that you have to do. You have to reflect on the role that you had and the experience that you had at your previous workplace. It's really important to look at the experiences that you got from there, to look at the skills that you got from there, to look at the networks that you created, and that's going to be really helpful in, one, helping you realize the type of environment that you want moving forward. It's also really important to help you know exactly what you don't want, and it's also really important because when you look at the network you have, you then have a sort of support system that can help you get your next opportunity. So that's equally important, and it can only happen if you take the time to reflect on the experience that you got from your previous place of employment. The third thing that you have to do is you have to update your resume. Now this is really important because if you have done step number 2, if you have taken the time to reflect on the experiences that you had from your previous place of employment, if you've taken the time to look at the skills that you gained from your previous place of employment, you'll realize that there's a lot you've learned and there's a lot for you to add to your resume. So step number 3 is to update your resume with all the skills that you learned and all the accomplishments that you had from your previous place of employment. The fourth thing you have to do after updating your resume is start looking for more opportunities. And I feel like for most people this is usually the first step, and it shouldn't be your first step. Once you have grieved the loss of your last job, you have reflected on all the good things from your previous place of employment and all the bad things from your previous place of employment, as well as the skills that you've gained from there, and then you have updated your resume, it's now time for you to start looking for other opportunities. And it's a good idea to start looking at roles that a similar role to what you were doing, as well as roles that are slightly higher. And this is like a good thing to do, because it increases the chances for you to like get back in the ring as soon as possible. So that would be my personal advice from experience. And finally, the last thing to do is, after you've looked at the opportunities that are available, you might see opportunities that you don't qualify for as of yet, but you can if you were to like take a course or maybe do one thing. So that would be the fifth thing that I would recommend that you do to get over getting fired, would be to take a course or some kind of a training, because you find that sometimes the difference between two job roles, for example assistant manager and manager, or jobs that have that type of a gap, you find that a lot of times the only difference is like a course or like one skill. So you would be doing yourself a huge service if you just take the time to take the course or the training or whatever, to give yourself that added advantage that you would need to get to the next level. Okay, that's it for me. That marks the end of this video. 5 things that you can do to get over getting fired. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. And if you've had an experience like this and you find this helpful, please let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.